Marco, Sideshow had this cheeky little banner. What? Don't give me that look, Dean. What the fuck?
You usually address me.
I usually address you, but
You've
Marco
been
brought
replaced,
this
Dean.
to our attention.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
he
actually
did.
what Oxyconn is all about.
Yeah.
This cheeky little banner, and I thought we'd just go right into it with a cold open. What do you think about this? Low quantity alert. The FOMO is real. First off, I really hate when companies use emojis. It just seems so disingenuous.
Yeah.
The FOMO is real. Get these items before they're gone for good.
So I know it's really popular to shit on Sideshow right now, so I'm not trying to pile on unnecessarily, but I think we've called out some of their tactics for
Pile
being
it, baby.
predatory.
Pile that shit.
This is just like this is
I'll
the
call
worst
you
of the worst in
Private
my
Pile.
It's crazy.
This is just like preying on somebody. And I will admit, I did get suckered in by one of their other banners. So Ben did, and I'm going to blame Ben. I'm going to throw him under the bus. He said with the Sub-Zero and the Scorpion, which we'll talk about later, he said, by the way, guys, they're low quality, they're low quantity. Go snag it now. I didn't want to miss out on those. This
That
was
was
a
like
few
a
months
month
back.
ago.
Yeah, it was a few months back, and so I went and grabbed them both. I had a bunch of points, so ultimately it worked out okay. It turns out they weren't actually low stock, and this banner will just show up regardless of what page you're on. So I think it sucks, but what do you guys think?
I
think
agree.
it's
So
ridiculous.
if you click this banner, does it bring you to things that are low quantity, or does this just denote like that item that you're on is low quantity? I guess can we clarify that?
Yeah, it'll just take you to a list of items. I haven't verified that all the items on that list are low quantity, but it'll show up
Gotcha.
regardless of what you're viewing. So it's very much intended for you to panic buy something based on where you're at on the page, right?
Is this like a generational thing? Because being a Gen Xer, like this, I don't know. I think this is like a new school kind of tactic.
It's like you got the dopo, you got the FOMO. You dopo so you don't FOMO. right?
Exactly.
What do you mean? You guys invented dopo practically.
Speaking
Tell
in
me you don't
short
know what
forms.
FOMO is.
Dopo's dead, man. Dopo's dead.
Bro, you guys wasted so much money. I remember listening, and Brian's like, I lost like $300 on deposits. I'm like, bro, what? It was like 10 Hot Toys that you canceled. Jesus.
We all learn the hard time sometimes, you know?
That's it.
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there. We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the adult collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm the Dopo King, Marco.
Wow.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Chris.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Don't forget to use code CW10 during our live recording for 10% off all in-stock items at 16corner.com. That's code CW10, capital C, capital W10. You're mute.
You're muted.
What a
Wow.
dang it.
First day.
You
First day on
haven't
the
messed
job.
up in a long
Okay,
time.
to be fair, I was addressing John's private chat, and I was telling him thank you, and I was trying to...
On a
that was
previous
my
error.
bad. But,
hate to see
to
it.
be fair, yesterday I didn't mute enough, and today I went the other direction. I'm muting too much.
Well, yeah, yesterday was nerve-wracking, yeah. That's true.
It was
I
it
needed
was a rough one.
Dean there as a witness, but
Yeah, I hate to see it. We got
guess I
Toy Mafia in the
missed
chat. We got Tukatri, David Jones, Chris Letty, Danny Lee, Stephen Krett, Universal Key, Thor Gaming. Evening, guys. Danny, how's the Archangel looking today? Absolute Irwin, excited for my weekly dose of CW Live. Sup, guys? Equan, Elaine Kramer, Trevor says, gotta appeal to the youths. How are you, a fellow collecting teens? Andrew Gibo, big old fern. My mouse is dying. Equan, Andy Standifer. I'll wait due to FOMO of those in stock discounts. Carlito, Mark Pearson, Baby Boy 562. Excited to see Ben Thomas talk about hot toys with his companions.
Love to see it.
How dare you? Ninja Squirrel, I've come for the unprofessional content.
You
You're at the right
ban that guy?
place. TSC.
Unrelated. How do you
Tina
ban
St. Cruz.
someone from the chat?
That's what I'm
Completely
saying.
unrelated. DJ, Sean Usby, sweet angels. I actually bought Chris an NFT right before we started because I owe him some NFTs. So that's your new this week. Dean, it's time to get into the best segment that all of the best shows start out with.
Yeah, you guys ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? I had a pretty good week. I just had a bunch of shit, honestly, in my pile of loot at BBTS. And it was like, I had like 9 hours to ship it. So I was like, fuck it, okay. I was waiting for more stuff to come in, and it seems like it's not going to. So I got the Deathwatch Mando Black Series. Honestly, it's a love-hate with this figure. There's some parts of it that are so well done, and then others that are such garbage that I'm like, what were you thinking?
What are the garbage parts? Name some names.
So the armor and the flight suit are a rubber piece over the plastic body. So like the jetpack doesn't peg in correctly and falls out constantly. I just super glued mine in.
I was like super glue. Hit that with Gorilla Glue gel, baby.
And then the knees are terrible. So like on the regular Mando, his knee is like, it's a double jointed knee. So like where the knee pad is like its own hinge, but they don't have that with this one. It's like a rubber piece that floats with a single joint. And when you articulate it, like it just like legs don't look like that. The dimensions are,
yeah.
It's like his leg is bending at like the bottom of the knee. It's really unsightly.
Wow.
It's pretty ugly. So if you don't articulate it, it's fine. But other than that, like the armor is really well done. The colors are good. It's got a belt that's its own thing. The armor pieces are great. It's solid. Honestly, I want a second one, maybe even a third, but like definitely room for improvement. It's not bad, but it's also not.
Did you take this photo after a hot shower?
I was about to say, when he said it to me, I was like, God damn, Dean, you gotta
the new
wipe
iPhone?
the lens, bro.
Yeah, this is my
bro.
lens is
all greasy. Dean, the Umbara Arc Trooper Black Series is in stock at GameStop now. The black and yellow one?
Should be. Yeah, I pre-ordered it at the store.
Yeah, you probably should be getting yours pretty soon then.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. But I got the 3 3/4 inch, another one because I had already gotten one. Also from BBTS. I also got the what the fuck do they call it? It's got a weird name. It sounds like a name from Robotech. Actually, Lambent Seeker. Because there's a Elent Seeker and Macross, but yeah, Lambent Seeker. It's okay. Honestly, the paint apps are like probably a little too small for this scale. The 3 3/4 inch. What is it? The Vintage Collection, and then the Arc Trooper from Battlefront 2. This is cool. This is like the character I always play as, so that was a must. But yeah, that was my pickups this week. Honestly, I picked them up like months ago, but like I said, they were just been sitting in my pile of loot, so time for them to come home. But that's all I got this week. What about you guys?
Congratulations, Ben.
Yeah, so I had a bigger Hot Toys week than I expected to have, to be honest. I got this.
Bro, what's going on here, man? You balled out.
I know, right? So, and I've been getting the smaller scale lately, so I was excited to get 2 in 1 week. The Trooper was a bit of a surprise. The DX18 was something I got on a really good deal. In fact, I actually texted the voice here to be like, this is the address that I'm going into, like, just in case you don't hear from me afterwards kind of deal. Thankfully, it ended up being not a scam and a really great quality figure. Really cool design on this figure. I love him, actually. It's become easily one of my favorites already in the collection. And then I was trying to get my Mandalorian helmet sold. So I've had this helmet for a little while. It's the Breeze one. And I just was having a hard time finding a good way to fit it into my collection, especially with my 6-scale figures. And I didn't necessarily want to go down the road of collecting helmets as well, because that's just another whole slippery slope to get into. So trying to be a little strategic. So I tried to get this thing sold for like a month. Nobody was buying it until I got contacted by another collector in the community recently. And he was like, hey, like, would you be willing to trade? And I thought it was a cool trade. You know what? I don't have a First Order Trooper in my collection. I've been told by many people this is like one of the most hated figures of all time, but I think it's cool. Like it fits, and I like seeing the evolution of the Trooper in my collection. I think that's kind of cool because I've got the original white one as well. So.
Yeah, this Trooper's okay. This is actually the first Trooper I got from the sequel trilogy. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, other than the fact that I hate the sequel trilogy, I love Stormtroopers. So I don't know. I always just thought like yeah.
It feels a little big. That was the only thing I was going to add to you, Dean, because like I agree with you. It's cool, but sorry to cut you off.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'd rather just have like a plain white one. I don't know. The pauldron bothered me that it's like solid plastic. It's not like a vinyl that you could take on and off, or like if you articulate it, it moves out of the way. So I was always freaked out that I was going to fucking break the shit out of it. So I was like, I'd rather just get a regular Trooper, but I didn't hate this one. Came with a lot of cool accessories. And
is it the rubber between the joints that bug people, much like the Death Troopers?
It was pretty bad, yeah.
It was pretty rough.
Like
it's hard
suit,
to pose it, to be honest.
Yeah, the suit itself is like a weird like vinyl material that like does not also articulate well. At least like the Death Trooper, other than like the elbows and the knees, it had like a cloth under, but not this one. That's like this weird vinyl that does not move.
Yeah, so it felt like a pretty good swap for me anyways. As I said, I was getting to the point where I didn't know if I should go down that helmet route, and I like having another figure. So now I feel like I'm really deep in Hot Toys. There was a time not too long ago where I only had 2 figures, and now I've got 18 or 19. So it's getting there. It's getting there.
It's crazy how nature do that. Congratulations. Chris, what do we got here?
Yeah, so I haven't had much of a display in my basement. It's unfinished. And the other week, a good friend of Collecting Weekly and 6-Scale Scavengers, TC, was coming up to New Hampshire, and I was like, I got to get my stuff squared away, like get something on display when he comes up and visits. So it kind of prompted me just to go to Walmart, pick up some black bookcases, put them together, and just get some of the collection out of totes and just kind of put this together. It's a lot of my Ahsoka collection, just some other, my books and, art of books and collecting, action figure collecting books and that sort of thing. But yeah, I want to get something on display, and I don't know, I just kind of threw it together, and I'm actually pretty happy on how it came out, and I can actually appreciate some of this stuff. This is temporary. Hopefully when the basement's finished off, I can, get some nicer cabinets with doors on them, because my girls told me that if I want them to not touch things, I should get cabinets with doors on them that lock.
Smart kid.
So I'm like, awesome, cool.
How much were those bookcases?
The bigger ones were, I think they were like $120 each, and then the smaller one was,
God damn,
I think like $80. So
okay. Yeah, I need some more bookcases.
Bro, $35 at Target, Dean, or free if they forget to scan them at the pickup app.
Deal.
What a steal.
Yeah.
You also got some cool
Literally.
trading cards.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've been
Decent.
putting my hard-earned collecting funds into over the last year or so. And yeah, so on the left here, I got some Ashley Eckstein, Ahsoka autograph cards, and these are both from Topps, and they're on-card autos. And I had picked them up back at the end of 2018, not graded, and earlier this summer, Brian Fontaine, Six Scale Scavengers co-host and buddy, him and I have been sending off a lot of stuff to PSA and other grading companies to get stuff graded. So he sent these off for me. I got a Gem Mint 10 on one of them with a 10 auto,
God damn.
and then a 9 with a 10 auto on the other one. So I was pretty happy with those results. I think they look pretty good slabbed up. And then on the right, just a few of the highlights of some of the cards I picked up in the last couple weeks. I've got everything from sketch cards to, Mark Pearson's favorite Padme insert cards from Topps Chrome. I've got an alternate art Dragonite from Evolving Skies
The
and
best
Pokemon.
Love it.
I've got a cut signature Dave Grohl card from Nirvana, Foo Fighters, Carl Urban. Sorry, go ahead.
Is that Miles Morales in the top right?
Yeah, it's a Miles Morales from the new Spider-Man Metal Universe set.
Ooh,
that's
can I have
that's
that?
just the base card. Yeah, I got some other autographs. Jamie Lannister auto. I got my Danny there, my Daenerys Targaryen. Couple cards of hers. Cosca Reeves, Sasha Banks from Mandalorian.
Is that from a card game, the Daenerys up top?
Yeah, that's from Game of Thrones has a TCG, or they've had a TCG or several sets, I think dating back to like 2003. And that's her second appearance in the game. And the first one, the card art isn't that great. This one's from like 2011. I had to buy it from Australia. So
wow.
But yeah,
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm really into the trading cards. Obviously, I mean, I'm into all the pop culture stuff. Brian TC and I have the Cards Formula podcast all about F1 and F1 trading cards, but I do like to dabble with this stuff, and I don't know. I find it interesting. There's just so many different cards out there to go for.
I saw you guys doing some Pokemon rips on Instagram.
Yeah, when TC came up.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was the new Lost Origin set just came out a couple weeks ago. And TC ripped a box, and Brian bought a whole case of the cards. They were hunting the Giratina alternate art card, which is a super secret rare.
Did they get it?
No. It's a really expensive card, too. I think... Wow. raw ungraded. I think they're like a $500 to $600 card or something. So, but anyway, those are my pickups. I got
Vivi her first Pokemon cards yesterday, like the packs.
Yep.
It was fun. I was at Walmart and this old couple was looking at tins, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't know they still did those. And I talked to them for a bit, and they were so confused. They had no idea what they were doing. And they were like, do you know anything about Pokemon? I'm like, enough. And so we were talking. They're like, well, we're trying to get our grandkids a gift. There's 3 of them, but we don't know what to get. They had like the decks and then the tins, and I guess like the blister packs where it's like 2 packs and like a coin.
Yep.
And a promo. And I was like, well, I would go with the tin because you get a nice little box to put them in. You get some stickers and 4 packs and a promo, and that's what they went with. And it was nice. It was nice to see.
Did you drop them a CW link or what?
Oh, I did. And I was like, yo.
Definitely should have.
Tell them to listen, bro.
Letty, quick question.
I linked them to the Poke Scavenger Instagram, actually.
If people are interested in getting into cards or card collecting as a hobby, where would you recommend they kind of focus their attention? Or do you have any recommendations on where to shop some of these things?
Yeah.
Not to give away your greatest sources.
Obviously. No, there's not. It's not really. That's not really. No secrets there. I mean, if you're on Instagram, just start, searching hashtags for different types of trading cards. There's a website called Cardboard Connection, and it breaks down all different trading card sets and releases. So like all the cards in this picture on the right are from different sets, and you can look to see all the different kinds of cards you can pull, and kind of figure out what direction you want to go. And yeah, Sean in the chat saying cards are gambling. I mean, yeah, they are. It's if you're ripping packs and stuff looking for cards, the big hit, it's definitely gambling. If you target, specific singles and stuff that you like, that's a smarter play. But
Facts.
you gotta have a little fun, ripping some
Letty,
packs.
I will never forget in my life.
It's cool.
When I played Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like 2009, and my friends and I were going to this tournament, and I needed these 2 cards, and they were like, they were pretty expensive at the time. They were maybe like $200 each, and there was a secret rare version and an ultimate rare version, which was a little less pricey, but I needed 2 of them, and I bought back then. It was like 3 packs and a promo card. It was like $10, and I bought 3 of them. And in those 3, I pulled 2 ultimate rares of the card I needed. It was bananas.
That's
it was
like
like
the
the
best of your
best
life at this point,
bro. Maybe even to this day, to be honest.
Man,
speaking of the good draws, look at this, Letty. Dopey Duck 314.
Oh yeah,
baby, minty.
I know.
Look at
If I
that.
can just figure out
how to get it.
You gotta import that. Yeah, a little Sweet Angel Halo going on there. Going to go see Avatar in
duck,
3D.
bro.
So
That's a dirty duck.
That's amazing.
Look at that oil on that baby.
I love it.
Congratulations, you'll love to see it. Let's bring these slides back up. I had nothing that I picked up, but I found a really cool file of a model for Warhammer. This is for actually Warhammer 30K, which is kind of like old school Warhammer.
Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, get this fucking guy out of here. It's the Primarch.
Okay or die, dude.
Okay. Shut the hell up. It's the Primarch for the Imperial Fist.
Go lay in the street, bro.
Okay. It's the Primarch for the Imperial Fist, and I printed it, and it was $1.50 worth of resin to print a model kit that
You printed this?
Yes.
Damn, that looks really good.
It's a $150 model kit that I printed
Did you
for $1.50.
finish it at all, or you painted it straight out of the printer?
Well, I primed
sanding.
it. No,
okay.
no. Yeah, straight out of the printer.
Wow.
You can see the base is a bit rough on like the back there because that's where the supports are. And so I asked the guy if he just had the base with just the rock, because I have plenty of the little discs, and I hate printing them. They waste resin, to be honest.
Yeah.
But no, it was no touch ups. It was pretty much straight prime and then paint. So
Looks amazing.
yeah, I saved myself like $150, and
That's
it's not the
pretty
exact
crazy.
model. It's a little different, but it's the same size, same pose, same general dimensions. Looks like the dude. And,
Okay, I have a question.
Yes,
Because directly next to him is a Space Marine.
they're fucking huge. Like, and it's weird because in the lore, the Emperor has like 20 of these. They're called Primarchs, and they get sent across the galaxy by like the forces of chaos or whatever. And he has to find them one by one. But it's like, I mean, how hard is it to find like a 12-foot tall, like, it's not that many people that are 12 feet tall. Like,
Okay,
they're
'cause-
mountains of men. Yeah.
So
they're
he is in
huge.
scale with the Space Marine. That's what I was going to ask.
They're fucking
Holy
massive.
Shit.
Like,
Okay.
yeah,
Go
they
on.
say like the size that you are compared to a Space Marine. Like, the difference is like the difference between a Space Marine and a
Them and
Primarch. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So
You know what
they're
I just
fucking
determined?
massive. What's that?
You guys are a bunch of dorks.
Okay, well, I was about
You
to say.
just
I
determined
know,
that?
You just found this out?
Yeah, I literally know nothing about 40K. Rainer tried to explain it to me one time, and we were driving for like an hour, and I was like, I don't remember anything you just said. Like, the fucking lore is immense. There's like whole religions and languages and sects.
Fuck, man.
and
Does anybody work?
it's fucking insane. But like, I'm obsessed with watching Warhammer shit on YouTube. Like people making miniatures or taking the
Oh, yeah.
McFarlane figures and transforming them into like something they're not. And
Yeah.
so like seeing this is like this is what I watch when I'm bored, you know. So this is fucking cool.
And now this, okay, so the Space Marine next to him is about 1.5 inches, which is pretty huge if we're being completely honest.
Right.
But this is
Massive.
maybe like
Girthy
2.5 inches. So like those little gems, there's like 40 of them. Like painting each one with 3 colors and then a gloss coat on each little baby gem took forever. But I
Would
think
you
it
ever
turned out
make
really
content out of that, Zach? Because
I
I'd
want
be
to
interested.
so bad. And in fact, I tried to, but I need to get like almost like another one of these boom arms, because the tripod that or like a taller tripod, because the phone, I kept hitting it when I was doing the gems, and you got to get real, or I need to get one of those, they sell, it's like a magnifying thing that you wear on your head, and so you could see
Like
the
a
little
monocle?
things. No, it's like a bionicle actually. It's a bonacle. It's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, shout out to Mark Pearson. Now this was a bitch to print though. I had like 4 failures on the body, and then I finally got one that worked, and I dropped it and I broke the little eagle off, so I had to print another one. But I got it working now. I got the file nice and steady, so I could basically print these all day.
Now, are you like, where are you getting the files from? Is there somebody that just like, are you paying for them, or
this one I don't want to say, because I think this guy said like the company's already tried to shut him down a few times. But there's websites that you can go to where it's like a file marketplace.
Yeah.
And he has to title them differently. So when I had searched, I was like, dang, I can't find, like, everyone's telling me that this model exists, but all the links are dead because the guy's account kept getting shut down. So I put up a post in one of the 40K printing groups that Ian sent me in, and like no one wrote back. And finally, like out of nowhere, this guy's like, hey bro, like this is where you get the file. $5 for the file, $1.50 for the print. And it's really cool because this guy's file actually had an option for a bust. Like it's like actually like much bigger scale. So I think I'm gonna print that next. But yeah, little to no cleanup, just ripping the supports off with hot water and a prime. So
what from beginning of print to finished product, how much time do you think you put into it?
So the print itself, I had to print it on 2 build plates because the base is quite large. So 3 hours for everything on the figure. So both heads, so the head, the helmet, both arms, the shoulder pads, the backpack, and the body, and then the sword and the 2 hands are one part. So that's like 6-7 parts. And then the base is another print, which in theory, if I had a bigger printer, could all be done in 3 hours. And then painting, it's actually really easy. It's a gold spray paint that I really like. Use to paint and primer in one. And then a wash, which is like you just slap the paint on. And then the head, it took me maybe like an hour to paint because I took quite a bit of time on that. And then just the gems took a few hours. He's not very complicated paint wise. It's mostly just all gold. Even the cape, the details are so sharp on there, you could just run your brush along it, and it takes like no skill, to be honest. I was dreading it all day, and then it literally took like a minute to do. But yeah, it's a crazy print. And actually, Dean and I, it's for your birthday, I think, or Christmas, or both. It's a model kit, I guess, that you purchased. You're gonna go into that?
It's not technically a model kit. It's just like a little statue, but it comes in pieces that, yeah, I guess you could call it a model, I guess. But yeah, it's about the statue is 9 inches tall, but the character in the statue is about 6 inches tall. So
nice.
It's from Elden Ring. So we're gonna film some content.
Yeah, we're gonna paint that. Mark is helping us get some really fancy. It's called speed paints, and they it's kind of like a one coat, and it gives you like the color, the shadows, and the highlights with one coat, and then it dries, and you have like a pretty good base to start like working from. So I think there's a paint in that line that would work really well for that character. So I'll have to show you off air. But anyways, I've literally not been buying toys since I've been 3D printing. I've just been buying models and files, and
dude, it's so cheap too.
It's so fucking cheap. Oh my god.
Yeah, because resin. I mean, resin's kind of expensive, but how many miniatures you could get out of it?
Yeah,
is
it's ridiculous.
Insane.
Like,
and
I
like
think
you said,
this
a buck maybe in resin. Like,
yeah,
come on.
This whole model with the supports, I think 60 grams, and 1,000 grams is like $25. So it's pretty not bad at all.
When it's in the printer, can you see it layering, like building? Or like I know it takes a long time, but like
Kind of.
can you see it or
Not necessarily, because it has like a little plate that gets layered into or that gets dunked into liquid, and at the very bottom of that liquid is a LCD screen. So once it gets tall enough to take the where you can actually see like what you've printed so far, like the first steps, but you're not actually seeing the layers being created because that's at the bottom of the vat. So the printers that Dean has both of these printers in his house, but the ones that are the filament, you can actually see it.
Yeah, layer by layer.
Yeah,
that would be cool to see on like a sped up video. You know what I mean? Something at like
it would
50
be really
times
cool.
that, like just to see it boom like that.
Which is interesting. I wonder if anyone's done that because there are translucent resins. Maybe like a GoPro in there. That'd be pretty cool, actually.
It'd be really cool.
You have to have a big printer though to.
And even your painting process, no voice, just some music, and it's sped up slightly to see it like
like time lapse or something like that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Or...
Yeah, exactly.
I do really like this model, and it was so easy to paint that I am considering because I literally have a second copy of this printed. I could do that.
I feel like it'd be really satisfying to watch.
Yeah, but
to see it come together like
Zach
that.
loves the sound of his own voice, bro. That shit ain't gonna
my favorite tunes are the ones where I don't have to talk.
rock and beat, see it come together. Love it.
Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
This is what I don't love to see though. Hot Toys Zack Snyder's Justice League 1/6 scale Batman tactical batsuit version. That's a mouthful. $300 Q4 2023 to Q1 2024. Yeah. I think this faceplate is really bad. I don't really have that many problems with the figure, to be honest, but my goodness, this faceplate is just bad. I've seen a lot of people excited about this. I've seen some people that were, a bit less excited about it. I've seen several of the tactical suit Batmans for sale this week, which I always think is super funny that when that happens. Not the worst price, not the greatest figure. It also seems kind of late. Like we've already had the figure released for a while. We've already had the film re-released for a while. I don't know. It just seems like kind of out there, and I don't love it. I don't hate it. Just seems odd that we're just continuing this trend of like remakes and reissues. Yeah. What do you think, John? Dean? Anybody?
That's all it is remakes and reissues and the same old crapola over and over again. This is, for me, wasn't needed. That faceplate with a grin, jeez Louise. And look at his elbow. That material is going to last you 2 days like that.
Yeah.
See that arm bend there?
We've seen, John, a lot of issues. Not the same figure, but with the BVS Batman. I've seen entire figures that have flaked off that whole outer covering of the bodysuit. So, yeah, this is definitely something you got to watch out for.
I just don't see enough improvement to warrant this figure coming out.
John, I know this one does come with different accessories than the previous release. It's still not enough, though, to justify, right?
Yeah, no. Not at all. The suit, I don't see enough improvement. Look at that issue with the arm there. And the faceplate. The faceplate's horrendous.
Also, the cowl turns with the whole fucking neck. In the photo on the left, it's all misaligned with the chest piece. I thought that was the whole point of... Didn't he fix that?
The upgrade of the suit, yeah.
I thought he did.
I think you're thinking of the Christian Bale Batman, your favorite Batman, but I think in this one, too, you're kind of seeing the evolution of it. But I will say... Oh, go ahead, Dean. I think you're going to say something else.
Oh, I think it looks bad.
Yeah, I've been racking my brain trying to make sense of why this release, because in my mind, this is the fourth weakest suit of the Ben Affleck Batman. And so really, like, folks were saying it was going for decent money on the aftermarket. I don't think enough to necessarily justify, not even a 2.0. It really is a straight reissue with some different accessories that came with the other version of the Justice League Batman. But I will give credit to Denobi, who's the only person that I've seen with like a really credible reason besides like fundraising for Hot Toys. And, he was talking about the butt on this Batman and how the material is just really weak when you try to bend him to sit. But that they had teased the Justice League mobile, or excuse me, the Batmobile from that film. And so if for whatever reason we actually do get the Batmobile, that's the only rationale I could see for them reissuing this. But beyond that, it makes no sense whatsoever. And this is just like a random release when we should be getting much more inspired stuff. Like, go back to the most recent Batman film and just give us anyone that's not Batman or a Bat Cycle or a Bat Signal from that movie. Come on. They got so many licenses and inspiration to draw from here.
To Marco's point, just quickly, Jazz Inc. dioramas also this week. I don't have it on the show sheet. I didn't really plan to talk about it too much, but you make a great point there. They're remaking 2.0ing their Justice League Batmobile, and I'm wondering if that's maybe why this is coming out also. It just seems odd that in the same week we got two kind of out of nowhere things, and one of them is a Batmobile and one of them is a Batman that can sit better than supposedly it did before. So
I think that's trying to grab at some sort of positivity that isn't there.
That's what I do, baby.
It's the only way that it would make sense, though, John, right?
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, man. I'm sorry.
I mean, you think Hot Toys is going to license both Batmobiles at the same time?
No, I'm not talking. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Marco's comment in regards to Denobi. Denobi reaching out.
Oh, I see.
Making his comment. That's just trying to reach out and find some sort of positivity over a figure that should never be hitting the market again.
So roll with me on this one. So I was in bed the other night looking up figures
with your fiance.
For once, finally,
with Shauna. And
thank God, it's been a while.
This guy pops up in the feed, right? And I'm like, okay. The faceplate reminds me of the College Humor Batman. Some of those funny Batman skits. I swear to goodness, I immediately started laughed my ass off for about an hour. The one thing that I took away from this Batman release was that they chose the wrong Batman to bring out at this time. I only say that because we saw the Keaton Batman previewed not too long ago, and we've heard nothing about that suit since. And it was Batman Day this previous week, right? So they're hyping up, clearly getting some love for Batman and everything. And it is very rare that I'll look at a Batman figure and kind of like not be happy to see it. But this one was one that I just was like, I thought it was kind of funny looking. It's not my Batman. So for those of you who it is their Batman, fair enough. This isn't my Batman. So like for me, I won't have this in my collection. But like, I'm really hoping to still see that Keaton suit, even though John really doesn't like that one either. But I'm cool with it. I'm willing to place that right here when it arrives.
At least they can do the Keaton suit with the whole Bat computer diorama or the Bat cave, right? So they could give us something different with that, opposed to this, which is nothing original whatsoever.
Well, Marco, I believe we talked about on your channel. Like, I just want to see other characters from Batman, like Ivy and Riddler and Two-Face from the old 90s movies. Like, why are we not seeing any of those characters? Now, they did, I guess we are getting Batman and Robin. So it's like, okay, what about Batgirl from that movie? And like I just said, the Ivy, the Bane. Why aren't you making new shit that people adore? People really love those movies. I don't get it, but it's whatever, right? Like, but at least you've never done it before. This is just the same shit thrown out again. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
And we do talk about Hot Toys like projecting strength or not projecting strength, right? If they were doing new stuff to get us excited, investing R&D into new figures instead of recycling stuff, we could have some confidence in them moving forward. But right now it's just feeling like their resources are strained. They need to get something out to get some deposit money in hand. And if that isn't the case, it definitely appears to be the case. So they're not projecting a whole lot of strength.
Well, and it's not even coming out till Q3 of 2023 and Q1 of 2024. Like, at least if you're going to put this out there, like, have it to us in the next couple of months here, right? Like, if we've seen this guy before, like, why isn't that possible? Why would you have to wait that long for this?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Chris.
Oh, sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I would just reiterate what everybody else is saying. I don't get it. I don't, whether it's Batman week or whatever, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I think aesthetically, I think the suit looks, cool or whatever, and I like Ben Affleck. I like his version of Batman and Bruce Wayne, but like, I saw this and I was just scratching my head. It's too bad we can't get some of those other characters. Reissue or do a 2.0 of maybe a more desirable Batman figure and include a villain or a companion piece to make it make more sense. Like, we don't need this figure. And to Ben's point, like, by the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, like, is Affleck even going to still be Batman, or
we'll
is
probably see the
Pattinson
next?
Gonna be,
we'll probably have the next Affleck suit because I think he re-upped for the role. But
Yeah,
we'll probably have
he
the
did,
next
yeah.
suit by the time
So-
this drops, which is wild.
I don't know.
And let me read Riley's comment here.
Thank
Hate
you,
this
God.
announcement. That said, dumped mine a day ago to pick this up. Is what it is in this game nowadays. Got to accept it. To appropriate another CW phrase like I often do, you hate to see it, Riley. You really do.
Wow. Bob
So-
Dylan says Jazz Inc. That's a 3.0. Sorry, John. Nicolio, Zach's an Olympic level mental gymnast, and Cuervo, Ben in bed needs to be a sticker. Does he ever get out of bed? Sorry about that.
Do you
Hate to
think
see
this is the what we deserve to see out of Hot Toys with the competition that's coming out?
No. I think, like Margot said, I think if they have lines that don't have companion piece figures, a lot of their lines, you might get one hero in an ensemble cast. Even if you just look at the figure that's coming out here soon, Echo, we've seen, I believe, the entire Bad Batch, and I think maybe only half of them are up for pre-order. And so I think they need to be completing ensembles that they've shown that they haven't put up for pre-order. I think they definitely need to be releasing more because we're at the point where we're getting 1, 2, 3 figures a week, maybe announcement every other, or release rather every other week.
It's not sustainable.
Not sustainable. The workload's getting too high, I think. So, yeah, John, I don't think this is projecting anything positive for me.
Yeah.
Moving on. Premium Toys The Hero, $189. Comes with 5 sculpts. The cutoff is September 22nd. This is a Q4 2022 release. The way that they worded it on this figure seemed a bit odd. It's like you buy the head sculpts and then you get the body and the suit and the hands for free. There's rumors that this is Toys era. Again, those are rumors. Take those with a big grain of salt. The portraits look pretty good, though. All the heads have voice-activated light-up functions, which I think is neat. And I think these portraits, I don't have pictures of all of them, but I think they're the most expressive and the most accurate, I think. It's going to be interesting, though. If this is not Toys there and this is some random company coming out of nowhere with this set, I don't know how confident I would feel in that, but it's good that there's options. This would be, I want to say, the second or third-party option, and then we have that really terrible licensed option. And I think competition's good. I think having the pick of the litter is not bad. And, at the price point of $189, it's, it's pretty good. I like it a lot.
$189 for everything?
That's what they said on the internet.
Damn.
And how much is the Star Ace version? Is it like $280 or something ridiculous?
My gosh, with the diorama, it's like a lot. I don't remember how much, but
Definitely over 280.
Crazy.
Fucking what was that? Starlight was like three something. Yeah, it's 280 for the standard. The deluxe edition's 297.
I know the deluxe Starlight was pushing like almost 4. It was like 3.
That's insane.
Almost 370, 380.
It's so bad.
Like a
I
Barbie.
don't want to talk about it again.
It's cool, but again, it's like, okay, well, these are just prototypes, and those always look good. So, especially since I don't know who the fuck this is, I definitely wouldn't spend that kind of money this early. If that makes sense. I
The weird thing is, you only
wanna take
have
the risk.
2 more days to pre-order it, supposedly.
Yeah, but that's what I meant. Like, if you want to take the risk, like, I guess, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I am intrigued, though. This was intriguing for you, Dean. The Bring Arts Final Fantasy VII Tifa and Aerith 129 releasing April 2024.
Yeah.
What do we got going on here? Is this these look like they're based off of the original, or is this the remake?
These are based off the original Final Fantasy VII game for the PS1. Bring Arts is a 1/12 line. We talked about Cloud a few weeks ago, and then they came out with Aerith and Tifa. So, yeah, these are cool. They originally were slated for April next year, and then they pushed it to April 2024. I got the email today. And then the Cloud was also pushed back. He was December this year, and he got pushed to December next year. So, a little disappointing, but these figures are. I've had Bring Arts before; they're pretty good, and I've never had 12 scale Final Fantasy VII figures. So this is super awesome. I'm super glad they're doing this. Tremble Dust asks, Bring Arts is Square's in-house company. Yeah, so they have Bring Arts and Play Arts Kai. So Play Arts Kai is a different scale. I believe it's, I want to say it's 110 scale, but I could be wrong. But yeah, so these will be super cool. Tifa and Aerith, babes, amazing. First probably loves in my life, so easy pickup.
There's also the Play Arts Kai Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion Zack Fair. This one's 155, releasing January 2023, and you have here that it's a Square Enix store exclusive.
Yeah, so you can only get this on Square Enix. So it's Zack Fair from Crisis Core early on in the game. Later he looks a little different and he has a bigger sword, so this is cool. If you like Zack and want to get this version of him. I actually personally don't like Zack, but I try and get every figure from Final Fantasy VII I can. So
that's not the first time I've heard that.
Doesn't look anything like Zack to me. But.
Do any of us like Zack? I mean,
how dare you not?
I honestly didn't even think of that.
I'm clipping that as an audio clip. That will be an audio clip.
I don't like Zack Fair. Zack is honestly...
Someone in the chat, clip that for me, send it to me. I need to rip the audio of that, please.
Zack honestly a dingus, bro. Like, he's such a goofball. Like, he's honestly kind of annoying, so... I'm not the
Which
biggest...
Zack are we talking about?
Yeah, the character's not great either.
The character... Oh, no, the character's fucking amazing. No, I'm kidding.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, so... Yeah, if you're looking for a Zack... Because the original one that came out for Crisis Core... The original game, because Crisis Core Reunion is a fucking remake. The original Crisis Core Zack is like a $500 figure. So if you need a Zack in your collection, this is it. So, or Play Arts Kai version anyway. Game Toys came out with their own, but yeah. So yeah, I kind of want to pick one up. Still not sure. Actually, I want to pick up two, but I might not.
There's Warhammer news that I really want to share, but I
saw
John's eyes roll. I saw John's eyes roll earlier. Well, I'll...
It's your show. Didn't you say it's your show? Hello?
Yeah, but I don't want to bore people too much.
This is my show. I do what the hell I want on my show.
Here we
I don't
go.
have the clips.
Think of the viewers, though. Don't.
This is my show. I do what the hell I want on my show.
It's not it's not about me. It's the viewers, right?
Here, chat. If you want to hear Warhammer news, comment quickly.
Please say no.
Nicolio the Great. I'll wait for the Art Oxfather. Hell yeah, dude! I'll come with 2 staffs. Let's move on. We'll circle back to Warhammer if we need to. This was a release. Remind me, Marco. This is 3.0
Storm Collectibles.
Storm Collectibles. Thank you. By Reddit user Adapting Chaos, and this is the Scorpion Sub-Zero release. Oh, they do want to hear Warhammer. Okay, we'll circle back. This is really exciting stuff because I think that their 1/12 scale stuff is really neat. To finally see this in hand was really great. And I think, Marco, you had a little snippet of this Reddit user's review, and there was some really encouraging things there for the people that didn't like the joint there on the figure. So do you want to go ahead and quote that review? And again,
Absolutely.
shout out to Adapting Chaos from Reddit for these photos, because no one has posted anything in hand of Sub-Zero yet, but we do have some in hand of Scorpion, but they did both release.
Yeah, so this is called release because it's just kind of under the radar. This personally with the Sub-Zero are some of my most anticipated 1/6 figures this year. I think on CW we were talking about Mortal Kombat figures, and then like a week or two afterwards they announced these. So really excited to eventually get these. So what the Reddit user said, Adapting Chaos, said it's a bit shorter than your average 1/6 figure. So take that, I guess, for what it is. So a little bit shorter, but the armbands and the gauntlets actually do come off. So a body swap would actually be very possible on this, which is encouraging because I'm one who didn't really love the joints. I think I'm going to, mess with it at first to see if I can get some poses that kind of hide them. But that'd be really cool to see the body swaps and the modifications that folks do with this, because that could take the figure to the next level, honestly. And then I guess the hands were kind of a pain to remove was the other highlight that they had. So the hand issue, I get, is such a basic thing when it comes to figure technology. The same thing happened with the So-So Toys Gambit. I actually broke one of the pegs, so everyone was saying, be careful, and I broke it. So now I'm a bit more leery about when people say it is tough, it could be actually difficult. Those are really the highlights that I saw. But yeah, overall looks really, really cool, and excited to see more about this one and the Sub-Zero.
Fantastic.
You say peg the way Dylan says bag.
Oh no,
Bag
did
and
I?
bag.
You said peg.
Bag and bag.
Pig.
Pig.
Oh yeah.
What's the price point on those?
They're $250 each. Yeah.
That's good. I think that's good. These remind me of like Sega Genesis days back in the day, playing Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 like religiously. And I know like it's not exactly the suit, but like it's close in the coloration. I love it. I think that's going to be a sweet collectible, buddy.
I think it's like definitely inspired by that original look though, right, Ben?
Yeah,
So it's
good
like
look,
close
yeah.
enough, like you're saying.
100%.
So this is a little bit of Warhammer news. So every 3 years, Warhammer releases a new edition. It's like to update the rules, kind of rebalance things a little bit. And there's a company called Joy Toy that makes 1/18th scale Warhammer figures. So they have all kinds of different characters, units, soldiers, whatever. But every single thing that they've released, the entire catalog, is based off of released models. So they take the STL files, they scale them up, and they add articulation and like, so every model that they have for sale, you can buy the model in game. And these are really interesting, these Blood Angels veterans, because the armor on this is not been seen yet in the game, right? And so a lot of people are thinking that because this is right around the release date for the new edition, and because the rumored armies that come in the new box set for the new edition would have been Blood Angels and Orcs, that this is the first look that we're getting at the 10th edition Blood Angels armor sets and some of the different things that will be on the sprues. So I just thought that was interesting because a lot of the Warhammer YouTubers were like really excited about this because, again, every single thing that this company's released has been directly related to a model, and this particular army hasn't seen these sculpts at all. So everyone's excited. 10th edition may be around the corner, and new models, new rules are always exciting. So just quickly, thanks chat for entertaining me there. Let's get back to the show with our sponsor.
See, I was on mute. My apologies. We want to thank 1/6 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. CW listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live using code capital C, capital W10. Choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you leave the rest to them.
We have some discussion points brought to you by the Ben Thomas Show. Ben's the discussion guy. Whenever I need something on Tuesdays, he's usually got some good stuff up his sleeve. So we have 4 discussion points. We'll kind of go through these. We got a little bit of time, so let's settle in and have some discussion. With Game of Thrones, I think midway through the season, it's very relevant that we ask this question: what does InArt need to do to unseat the Hot Toys throne? Whether that be materials, licenses, speed, communication. I think their communication is excellent. I think that they're communicating with us more so than any other company that I can think of. Maybe the only company that this isn't within our wheelhouse for CW proper, but Toddy Mac Daddy Todd does a ton of communication with the collectors, and that's kind of the level of collection discussion that I'm getting. Maybe a bit more because they're actually going on streams for InArt. But I think with that communication, they also have to show that they're willing to make those changes. And we've seen with the Gandalf they were in some areas, but I think they need to continue to do that going forward. I think staying on time with pre-orders and releases is going to be very important. Hot Toys is obviously struggling there right now. I think there's a lot of ground that could be made up there. And licenses, I think the thing that hurts them the most right now is a lot of their stuff is not licensed for the worldwide audience. We're having to go through certain distributors to get figures that we like. And I think that is very, very limiting to their market. I think if their figures were something that we could pick up on Big Bad Toy Store, which kind of dips into our second question a bit, but if they had a better distribution channel for more licenses, I think it would be interesting to see what could happen there. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I think to topple Hot Toys off the, Iron Throne is pretty much, because you make a good point about getting different avenues to buy the figure, but really, if you want it, you'll fucking find a way. So I think the really only thing that they can do is get more licenses, start making a lot more product. Because like right now for me, it's like DC and Lord of the Rings. It's like I don't want any of those. Well, I want Lord of the Rings, but like so half your products I'm not interested in. Personally, I get that there's a lot of DC fans out there, but bro, if they announced the fucking like Luke Skywalker or something, I'd be fucking all over that like fucking stink on shit. You know what I mean? Like, so that's kind of where I'm sitting at with that. But I love the points you brought up.
For me, I think the only thing that InArt's lacking is the licenses. But at the same time, I think what InArt's doing now, business-wise, has already dethroned Hot Toys. But I don't think Hot Toys will be dethroned. And the reason why I don't think Hot Toys will be dethroned is because you'll always have that fan base behind Hot Toys. The amount of figures they're producing a year, and again, it's the licenses. The licenses, they're working with Disney. They're getting all the Star Wars licenses. Before InArt can even think of that, that's going to take a lot of time. Before they
luckily,
can get
InArt already has those licenses with statues, right? So they kind of got a leg up on others.
Yeah, but with but we can't compare statues to Hot Toys, right? We can't, right? That with that licensing, we're not. I'm talking about specifically InArt with the figures. They, for me, like I said, business-wise, communication-wise, with the community, the way they're acting in the community, they've already surpassed Hot Toys in my eyes. But when it comes to figures, I think Hot Toys is still going to always remain in the game unless they give up. Because there's always going to be people buying.
So I think if InArt gets like the Disney license, for example, and they're able to produce Marvel and they're able to produce Star Wars, I think that is a way worse double-edged sword than we may even realize. Think about how many collectors like us have spent thousands of dollars on our collections behind us. And how pissed John gets every time Hot Toys does another release of the same figure we've already seen because it devalues the collection behind you. How badly is it going to devalue the collection behind us if InArt starts producing all of the same figures that we've already gotten from both our loved Star Wars franchises as well as Marvel? While I think that they could probably, at this point, at least based on prototypes, because obviously we haven't had anything physically in hand yet, I think based on prototype, they have the ability to dethrone Hot Toys for their quality and the likeness to the characters. But, like, do I even want them to get some of those licenses? I think that they could still do a really good job at the same level, if not higher, if they're able to find licenses that we've all been wanting, to see that haven't necessarily come to fruition. The only challenge there is because they're a smaller company, if they don't rely on what's most popular right now to build their bank account so they can grow and do some of those random options, we may never see that happen or unfold. So as I said, it's a bit of a double-edged sword there, because I'm not sure that I want figures out in the market that are better than the ones behind me, because then what do you do?
But you back up you back up Hot Toys reissues though. It's the same thing.
But again, InArt is a new company. I would rather see them do new figures, not reissues of the same.
No, I know.
I don't like reissues from Hot Toys but I also recognize that there are new collectors in the market now that want those figures and couldn't get them before. They were just too young or whatever.
But that's the same thing with InArt. There'll always be new collectors coming in wanting it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just now we're looking at it's going to affect you. Reissues affected me. Now if InArt comes in and gets those licenses, it's going to affect you and you're not going to like it. I've just been preaching for since I've been on the channel.
You're not wrong. I feel like my perception or perspective on reissues has changed slightly, only because I am starting to build a bigger collection, and I do see those collectors out there that have 300 figures, not 18. Like, I mean, 18's like pissing in the wind in comparison, right? Like, so I am starting to feel for those people if we do see that. At the same time, I also think that if we don't have a company that's challenging the quality of Hot Toys, we're going to continue to get Hot Toys releases that are kind of lackluster and not exciting anybody anymore, kind of like that Batman seems to be with a lot of people or others, right? So what do I think they need to do? I think they need to come out with or find some fresh licenses, something that they can at least sprinkle into their line, something that we've never seen before. But they also need to have a better production schedule, right? They need to be on time when they say they're going to be on time to the best of their ability. Obviously, based on where they are in the world, they're still dealing with some pretty hardcore COVID-19 rules that they have to kind of work around. But even still, as long as they can try and stick to those schedules, I think that they will start to dethrone Hot Toys over time, and I think people will be willing to spend a little more to get them in hand.
Yeah, I mean, again, great points. I think for InArt to, overtake, Hot Toys, it would take a long time. I think a long time. The fact that they would have to make the most popular figures again is it's a real situation. Like, they can't, we see it now. They've got the Batman, they've got the Joker, Gandalf, these figures that other companies have already made. They may be better. I mean, they're more expensive, different options, different accessories. Collectors want to see these things in hand before they start, really sinking their money into this company in this area. It's unfortunate because, from the prototypes and everything that have come out so far, I think they would kill it at doing all like secondary characters, villains, filling in these gaps. They could make their bread and butter being that company. Like, yes, they'll have the one or two main characters, but to do all these characters that Hot Toys doesn't want to touch, I think that could be their niche. And you think about all the thousands and thousands of collectors that they want to complete the whole team. They want to have a filled out display. I mean, and the way InArt is set up, there's all these different levels of these figures. They could do like a base level figure, and then you could just like a la carte, like kind of add in all these different accessories. You could do a deluxe, and just start doing that with DC and Lord of the Rings, and just try to build up, not like do another Christian Bale Batman and another, whatever. I think, I wonder what their strategy for their next figure releases are going to be, as far as the licenses that they currently do have. And yeah, I mean, get some other licenses, start doing, pop culture, characters that haven't been touched in 6 scale.
Video games,
just like all these different things that they could do, but I feel like they're just gonna do the characters that have already been done, or
Kind of
are
what's
the
comfortable.
Yeah, comfortable. You very rarely see the risks being taken, only in these third-party companies, because they're not paying the licenses, and it costs nothing, for them to make these figures. But yeah, I don't know. There's so much potential there, but I don't have the confidence right now that they'll actually take some of those risks in the short term, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I completely agree with everything you said there. And I do want them to kind of not unseat Hot Toys, but for the two companies to really coexist with one another. And like you're saying, kind of fill in those gaps. It'd be great to have an awesome collection of both Hot Toys and InArt and any other companies that may come, or, third party figures. But there's just so much untouched ground, just like with Batman alone. I think we listed a whole bunch of them that they could be doing to differentiate themselves from what Hot Toys doing. So I think, I just really do want them to coexist. And I would say the biggest thing for me, the prototype that I've been most impressed with is that Joker. If they have a final release of that Joker that is as close to that prototype as possible, and they're able to continue to produce figures at that level that just look kind of night and day from anything else that I've personally seen in 1/6, then I think they will gain attention and they will start getting these other licenses, and it'll all fall into place for them as a company. But yeah, they've really got to deliver on their promise in one figure at a time, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, and John, I already saw some of that loss in my Joker figure, right? That DX11. That picture I shared of the DX11 next to the Queen. I'm still supporting Queen. I've got that Joker 2-pack coming, and now I'm what am I going to do with 3 Jokers in my collection? But I still love the DX11. I don't think I'll ever get rid of it. It took me a decade to get him. But still, I've seen that value decrease. At one point there, before Queen had announced theirs, I think he was going for $2,000 almost over here, out west in Canada, which is crazy. Now it's back to $600. It's just devastated at this point. So
did you say Canada was out west?
I'm out west in Canada.
I'm joking. I'm messing around.
Yeah, I hope they release every figure that Hot Toys has done.
Takes them out entirely.
Done. It's just because Hot Toys isn't innovating, right? How can you're a Hot Toy collector and their Hot Toys is beating themselves up? So why shouldn't InArt come in and be, they are a bit innovative, but why should they take all the risk now when their quality is better and they can sit back and produce the same figures that Hot Toys did at a better quality? When Hot Toys isn't even coming out with new characters.
Yeah.
But they're still at a premium price.
I feel like InArt
but it's a premium product.
Hot Toys as much as Hot Toys is beating themselves.
Bro, fucking facts.
Amen.
Holy shit, bro.
Amen.
Yeah, and it's too early to tell, like you guys said, until I think Q3 of this year is going to be fucking critical for InArt.
Is that when that Joker's going?
I believe
I hope
so.
not.
John just said on Will's stream that he was on, I think on Sunday, he said October is when they will have kind of the first prototypes ready. Obviously, they're taking it to Vegas, but I think that they'll have them in people's hands here pretty soon. So yeah,
I hope not.
Yeah,
but I think that he said the one in Vegas is actually going to be a production unit, not the prototype.
That's
so
right.
What you see in Vegas should be what you actually get in hand, which will be exciting to look for.
Send me one, John.
And I will say, sorry, Zach, for a sports analogy here, really quick. Hot Toys feels like they are playing not to lose instead of playing to win, right? You look at the Buffalo Bills last night. They ran up the score. They just crushed their opponent. Weren't even thinking about the other team. They just kind of did their own thing. My Oakland Raiders, on the other hand, kind of played conservatively, lost because they had a huge lead, but they kind of, played not to lose. So I want to see Hot Toys just kind of have that killer instinct and wow us.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the figures that have really shined are so few and far between that it's can we get more of this, please? Like the Wolverine with the real leather.
That was what came to mind too. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yep.
That is cool. That gets me excited. That's not even a character I particularly collect, and I was like, God damn, that's fucking cool. Where is all that? Why are we getting Batman again?
Buddy,
Give me
we've had our
something.
last 4 episodes have been re-releases.
Yeah, it's
Every
fucking
figure has been a
crazy.
re-release. There hasn't been one new figure yet. It's always been.
Yeah.
It's
been
been
boring.
It's been.
I feel like every week I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear what John says.
I'm
And
done
like,
already.
God
Like you
damn,
can see
yeah,
the
like
it's.
100%.
Dude, John,
There's nothing
I'm
else
right
to
there with
say.
you.
Why do you?
I'm honestly
Apologies if
looking.
I-
I'm honestly looking at my collection, and I'm like, damn, if I take like some figures out, I could get some more Warhammer stuff in this case. Like, dude, I'm so fucking ready.
Soon it's just
And
gonna
the-
be me and Marco that show up on Tuesday nights.
Oh,
Hey guys,
Jay.
what's going on?
You know what? You
Oh
fucking
gosh,
comical.
and to 2
you
viewers.
guys.
I will say, if I said Oakland Raiders, I meant Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry about that.
Ooh, I forgot they
Quickly, let's go down the line just briefly, just so we don't run too long. If you could choose an official distributor for in-art products in North America, who should get it? I'm going to say Big Bad Toy Store. I think there are some stores that do distribution in North America through Big Bad Toy Store. I think they're a huge company. I think they have excellent customer service. I think they pack and ship fairly well. A little long on the shipping and handling times, but I also think they have some really neat policies in place. The box of loot, rather, I think is a really interesting concept that you can stack up a bunch of shit and ship it for $4. I think there would be some really cool potential, and even like I said, there are some companies that do choose them for distribution. So that's who I would choose. I personally wouldn't want it to go to Sideshow, but I'm curious, just briefly, anyone have any other distributors in mind?
Bro, you fucking nailed it. $4 shipping? Yes. I mean, they charge a little bit more on the top end, but like,
You're paying.
who gives a
but
shit?
if-
Like
if
you
you're
said,
like
when you
someone
have
like-
a pile of loot, fucking ship it all for $4. Like,
So I have a really far-fetched one here, but because they're producing a Lord of the Rings show, I'm just thinking, what about Amazon? Like, it'd be dope to have
Ooh,
figures from
that would be pretty
Amazon.
cool.
They've got all the
That's pretty good.
distribution. They could pass the savings on to us.
I don't. Being in Canada, I don't mind Sideshow. And I know Sideshow, but customer service wise, I've gone through returns with them.
you're not
The
wrong.
peace of mind of, hey, something's wrong, I'll call them, they'll take care of it on the spot. The rewards program, I'm not here to kiss Sideshow's behind, but for me in Canada, with my experience, I would have to say Sideshow. I know that's not
Do you
a
think
favorite topic.
Is Sideshow even possible? Do you guys think?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah,
I think that's the most likely.
it'll happen with the global
Really?
for the global.
Yeah, because Sideshow distributes like they have Batman statues, but they also distribute Prime 1 statues. Or for
Sideshow's actually
example-
worked with Queen already with the bus, life size
Yeah,
bus.
and
Okay.
not only
Yeah,
that, but
okay.
different like Jurassic Park. They were working both sides of the street. They had Prime 1 and Chronicle at the same time. So yeah, I could definitely see them
Okay.
double dipping, as they say.
I like Marco's concept of the Amazon, but the drivers, the way they deliver.
Oh, that's a good call. That's fair.
They
No,
use
that's
a
fair.
lot of different a lot of different delivery companies, right? So you don't know what you're going to get, but yeah, that's a scary thought.
I've only had good experiences with Big Bad Toy Store and Sideshow, like getting from the States. So for me, those would be my top two choices. I just didn't even think Sideshow was on the table, to be honest. I thought double dipping like that would be kind of messed up. It's going to create like an internal war, I think. But I mean, maybe not. Like you said, you made good points. They have similar figures in different lines previously. So that's mine for sure. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, both BBTS and Sideshow make a lot of sense. I like the Amazon route. I do wonder if that they would get lost in the shuffle, with such a big company, if they would get the if there's any issues and that sort of thing.
True, because you kind of have to have a collector's mindset to
Yeah.
know, like, oh, this hair is out of place, or
and that's where BBTS might fall short. I've never had a problem with BBTS. Granted, if the figures that I pre-ordered through there usually take about a month to 2 months later than most Sideshow, most other retailers. So it is a really long additional pre-order time from them. That's been my experience. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Sideshow, like customer service and the fact, every time I've had an issue, they take care of everything. I know some people haven't had the best luck or not the biggest fans, but I mean, they got everything in place already for the collectors. I don't know. Kind of makes the most sense.
It's crazy to think, Dejan, that in Canada there's not really a better option than us just wanting to get from the States. Like we're still part of North America. Like I know, it's crazy to me that there's not a better option.
Let's open a place.
The Queen's on your money.
I was just gonna say.
Part
Let's
of
open a
England,
place.
technically. Zach's Wonderland. I heard they're.
No, thanks. Let's open a place. What's his name again? Fuck. I'm drawing a blank. Ben. Fuck.
What the fuck?
Who, me? What?
I was gonna say Marco for a reason. I don't know why. We should open a place, Ben.
It's 3
You
letters.
take the Calgary market, and I'll take the Toronto market.
People would show up just to watch each other trying to ring shit out at the till. Can you imagine the arguments? Unbelievable. You have to pay for that kind of show.
Well, we're not going to be working together.
You can meet at the good old fashioned Timmy Hortons and do a root pie.
I was talking to Julian and the boys. They went down to John and Ben's and they're buying hot toys and from a kitties and.
Oh my god! I would 100% invite the Trailer Park Boys if we had a Canadian store. 100%. They'd probably even show up. Those guys are crazy.
Trevor makes a great point here. Sideshow itself literally is a Hot Toys competitor already, so why would they not pick up NR2? Yeah, they're all about that. The Darrow,
That's a good
baby.
point. 100%.
Let's rapid fire here because we're gonna run a little bit long. If you could choose an official or do blogger photos matter? Boba Fett on the throne and now Echo have been getting shipping notifications before anything official has come out from Hot Toys. Look, I'm just saying, at some point we're gonna start getting this shit way early before Hong Kong, and we're gonna open up Zach Wonderland, and we're gonna make buku money. I'm talking dollar.
You're gonna ship it back to them.
Yeah, exactly, because we get that shit early. And I'm charging those motherfuckers like $600 for shipping. Like
they better fucking tip too.
Yeah, it's a day one, bro. It's a day one. I'm charging 5 times retail, right?
It's gonna be wild when we get Hong Kong exclusives first, right? But I'm gonna say the blogger pictures do matter a lot. Like this is a pattern that we know that we can kind of get to see it. It's the first piece of data that we have, and then we see kind of the in-hand reviews. And then we can know whether we want to cancel or kind of move some money around. Without that, just to get a figure from Hot Toys, because they're pretty consistent, but every now and then we will get something that's pretty off. And so just to get the figure in hand and open it, and all of a sudden that's when you determine whether it's good or not, that's pretty terrifying. And I get people say, you can ship it back to Sideshow, but that costs you money, right? You don't get to do that for free. So I'm very concerned with this future.
I personally, blogger pics are always so fucking edited anyway that, I don't know. To me, it's like, as long as I'm not the first one to get it, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's...
You could be one of these days, though, right?
Yeah,
it could already be on your way by the time you see the first pick.
You're not wrong. But if, Justin gets it, I watch his review, whatever, or, Ben gets it and he's unhappy and I laugh at him. That's fine with me. As long as I'm not the first one to get it. But even if I was, again, blogger pics are so doctored that, you kind of can't get a real feel for the character or the figure. So, to me, they're not super important, TBH.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Dean. They're so heavily photoshopped that I would rather watch an unboxing. Wait and watch an unboxing. It's not like they're selling out. I'm not pre-ordering figures anyway, so
if they do sell out, John, you just get it a year after it comes out to get the 2.0.
But lately, some of these pre-orders have been selling out before they even get to release status. So, and that seems to be a new trend lately, where these are we're seeing low stock on pre-orders before they're even done. So, then if we don't get blogger photos too, then it's really gambling, right? I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that.
But usually those that are in that sold out or wait list, they go back up, right? So
or they've been up for pre-order for over a year.
Yeah, I wouldn't put.
They're FOMO. Get it? It's almost.
Well, now they're writing.
Guys, Gilgamesh is in low stock alert. Okay, all 7 people that were excited for Gilgamesh.
There's no way.
No, he
people
was
fighting over that figure.
I think he sold out.
That's what they said, but there's no way that. Unless they only made 1,500 of them, there's no way that figure's fucking
50 of them.
For me, the blogger photos are good for the show content. That's pretty much it.
Facts.
But I will just say the blogger photos are the canary in the coal mine that it's about to release in Hong Kong. But if the distribution model has changed, that it's going to release in the States first, then we'll never be happy, right? Like, okay, I'm going to get my figure faster.
No, I'm
but
never
I kind of like the rhythm. I kind of like the rhythm of let other people get the first batches, let them sort through any problems. I get to see all the pictures and then really determine whether I want it or not. So
I'd be less likely to take a risk. I'd be less likely to take a risk, just like you, Marco. I'm in the same boat as you, buddy. I feel like we collect very much the same that way. I just wouldn't take risks on figures that I'm like kind of on the fence for. You know what,
let
guys?
someone else suffer.
Come on. Dean, did you block me on Facebook after I shared my Darth Maul picture with you, by the way? I think you did. I
blocked you on Facebook after last Tuesday. How dare you?
That's weird.
This seems obvious. Would you rather have months with no announcements in favor of waiting for releases, or do you like the current model where we seem to get a ton of announcements but long waits for releases? I think that even if Hot Toys has 50 prototypes ready to go, boy, they gotta put that shit on the back burner and fucking show us things that are done, because there's too many figures that we've been waiting too long for with no real reason, and that list just keeps getting bigger, and I feel like we say this too much, but it's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable. I think what everyone said is true. I think they may be in some trouble, and it's not giving me a lot of confidence, and I think the way they're doing it now is just not particularly good.
The compiling of pre-orders and new figures and stuff with the minuscule amount of releases is just, it's insane. Like I mean, I've personally there's a reason Six Scavengers has been on the back burner for like a year now. I mean, fatigue for sure. Like, I just don't think that Hot Toys is meeting the needs of the collectors in a healthy way. Like it's just the whole format of their, random releases, like no rhyme or reason. Then, Cable drops like, oh, I forgot that he was even a figure, like, cause it's been so long since he was, put up, or, you get these reissues here and there that kind of don't make sense. But I think they need to like put out a statement and just be like, look, we're going to like hammer out, these figures that you guys have been waiting. They sometimes do those pictures of, they did it earlier this year, the picture of the figures
the
that
upcoming releases, photos.
Yeah. They're, these next 10 figures, expect them in, in the next 4 months or something like that. I think that needs to be a quarterly thing for them. And I think they need to like stick to it, not, just do it once every 3 years. I don't know. For me, they've got to just get their, butt in gear and like just get us some, get some figures.
But
you can say bad words here, bro. Yeah. You're amongst friends.
No swearing. Gotta keep it clean.
Like something in between would be fucking nice. Like, stop, especially when it's reissues, right? Like, that aren't coming out for another fucking year and a half. Why? Like, just release some shit and show us some new stuff like every once in a while. Like, why is it like it's like every other week it's like a new announcement. It's like, okay, but I'm not going to see this for another 2 years, and you still have a ton of shit to come out with. Like, can't we find some middle ground? Stop announcing new shit, because it's just going to be reissues anyway. So, like, slow down the announcements, speed up the release, and eventually you'll come up to an equilibrium where it's like, hey, here's a new announcement, and it comes out next year. It's like, okay, it's not great, but it's better than nothing. Like, I don't know. It's getting exhausting.
It's going to be a bummer because, we don't get enough releases, and then properties that we really like, sometimes the announcements are kind of all over the place. There's just no consistency with them, right? Like Andor, we may really like a bunch of characters in Andor coming up, and we're going to get like Andor and a Trooper, and I don't know, a reissue of something else they already had.
We'll get
Another
so many
Death
troopers
Trooper.
before we even get Andor. I mean, I
That's
feel
right.
like so many helmeted Star Wars figures. Good luck
In
with the head
2025.
sculpt. Yeah,
Yep.
seriously.
That's the easy stuff for them to pump out. So it's like, man, they're not giving us what we want, and they're still, dumping all these, easy announcements out there.
Well, not that I watch a lot of sports, but I would say it almost like kind of what Letty's saying. Like you almost need like a rebuilding year to say, you know what, this year, sorry, no more announcements. This is going to be the year of releases. And then stick to it. Actually get caught up to a point. Because it's never a good business decision in any way, shape, or form to let the community think that something is going sideways with your business. Because we're getting to the point where I don't even want to put money into a pre-order anymore, because the Loki pre-order I've had for forever, like I'm actually starting to legitimately question if they'll ever make that endgame Loki. Like it's like that's kind of crazy when you think of it. Like it gets too long and too kicked down the road and too many more piled on, and then that's when I start to feel the fatigue, because the thing that I did really want a couple years ago is starting to get to the point where like my collection is changing behind me. I'm going to have a different mindset for my collection before I even get the thing in my collection to build my collection. And it's like, then I might as well spend my money elsewhere. And if I start spending my money elsewhere, suddenly I'm not going to have that money to put towards Hot Toys, and that will start to hurt their business.
It seems to be working for XO6 though.
Not at all. XO6 does a preview and then a release within like months.
It was a joke. Where you said the company, it's not good to show that a company is going sideways. It seems to be working for XO6.
Hey, when the
I wanted Zach here for that. Fuck Zach.
I don't agree. I you know what? I still think XO6 is doing it the right way. They show a figure and they get you the figure.
And then the owner goes on Facebook and has a meltdown.
He does have several meltdowns if you don't want to see
They
the inner
posted
workings
something
of his
today
mind.
that made no sense to me. He was like, even
for
I
the
can't
Chakotay?
get 3 figures for my own personal collection. And I'm like, so you only made exactly the amount. Like, what happens if a figure gets lost or damaged or stolen or has a defect? Like, you're telling me you have no extras made? That just
Come on, stolen?
seems like a recipe. I mean, it happens. People get
Zach got
parcels
his-
stolen all the time.
His Bumblebee stolen off his
Yeah,
front
but
porch.
we're talking.
Well, up their front porch.
Well, you guys
Still
are
living in the
choosing
wrong
one,
house,
so-
but still.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways.
Either way, I think that's what they'll need to do, or they're just going to erode the confidence and the trust of the community, which I don't think is good.
I mean, I'll have a trading card analogy. So PSA, the trading card grading company, they were, when the pandemic hit and like the trading card market and hobby just like got a huge boom. There was tons, like millions and millions of cards being submitted to get graded. And PSA was like, we have so many cards to get graded, we cannot take in any more. Like, we need to get through our backlog, and the only option that you have is to like pay a stupid amount of money to get like really expensive cards graded. But like, it took them the better part of a year to get through that backlog, and now they're back in the swing of things. And it's like, it was the best thing that they could do for their company. Like, and it kind of made a lot of collectors mad, but now everybody's back, they can send their stuff in, and they opened up their lower levels for grading. It made a lot of sense to do something like that. Like Ben was saying, like, just take a break and maybe only do like the con exclusives, or, a few exclusives here and there, something like that throughout the year. I mean, I doubt that Hot Toys would ever do something like that, but I mean, it would kind of make sense. And then cut down on their lead times. I canceled so many pre-orders this over the course of this year because these figures that I pre-ordered 2 years ago, yeah, I changed my collecting strategy. I purged 80% of my Hot Toys collection. It's like, in 2 years, your whole entire collecting strategy could change.
Yeah.
So,
and it's fucking
Now we're
crazy.
talking.
You're waiting 2 years for a figure that you
I know
ordered.
my
That's bananas.
Harley Quinns. legit 2 years. My Ahsoka, 2 years. I mean, like, what the
It's
hell?
ridiculous.
I don't know.
I can't feature comments, but Tremble Dust said here in the chat, I don't think their business model would sustain without announcing and getting pre-orders at Hot Toys. And I kind of agree with that, except for the fact that isn't that showing that, like, eventually it's going to start crumbling out from underneath of them.
Close the doors.
Right?
then.
Like, so, like, if they don't have a catch-up year, there's no way that people pulling out of their orders slowly over time because they get just bored or change their collection or whatever, don't have their money anymore, lost their job, like all of the things to create you to pull out. Gross. I feel like it would make it crumble, honestly.
Licensors need to start pulling the license. That's it.
There needs to be some accountability.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and to my point earlier, though, it's fine if, okay, they want to keep announcing a lot of figures, right, to get those deposits flowing in. But we don't have time for the Batman Justice League second worst suit in the film. We don't have time for that shit. Like, we got to only have mainline characters. If you're going to catch up, like, kind of trim all the fat off of this and give us the good stuff. And yeah, that's the only way they'll ever catch up.
Yeah. Let's move on. Ben, tell us about this right here.
Yeah, so I am a huge Nintendo 64 fan, and when I was a kid, this is probably aging me a little bit. N64 007 GoldenEye was one of my favorite games of all time, easily my jam with the buddies. This is back before, like, online gaming, right? And you'd sit in the living room and, you know, like, try to not screen look at your brother or your buddy, right, while you're hunting them with the silenced, what is it called, the golden gun, or I don't actually know if the golden gun was silenced. Either way, it was a freaking wicked game. And for any of you guys who play Far Cry 5, they have like an arcade mode where creators or like players can go in and create their own world using kind of a world builder. So my buddy and I have been playing like a GoldenEye 007 mod on Far Cry 5. Well, they just announced this coming to the Nintendo Switch, which I think is amazing because all my buddies live back on the East Coast or out in the States or whatever. So for me to play games locally with a friend like this, I have no friends locally, sadly enough. But I would love to play this with anybody who is down to play some GoldenEye because this shit is awesome. Now, I don't know if they're necessarily revamping the graphics on it or if they're really just kind of porting it over and creating an online functionality. But either way, I'm really excited to see this, especially handheld. If I can bring my Switch out with me and play 007, I'll be all over that shit. So, pretty excited.
Very cool. All-time classic game. Definitely excited that it's going to come to online play, and I don't know how well the gameplay would have aged to today's standards, but bro, that golden gun, fuck, dude, this shit's legendary. I don't think it was silenced. I think it was just naturally like a weird sounding gun, but yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk about Ford versus Ferrari. This movie is about a determined team of American and British engineers and designers led by automotive designer Carroll Shelby and his British driver Ken Miles, who are dispatched by Henry Ford II with the mission of building the Ford GT40, a new racing car with the potential to finally defeat the perennial dominant Italian racing team Scuderia Ferrari at the 1966 24 Hours of Le Mans race in France. This is a pretty good movie, a little bit hard to watch in the States if you don't own it, but I really enjoyed Christian Bale's character in the movie. I'm not really that familiar with the Le Mans race, so this was kind of a nice little primer for me. And I think the thing that I enjoyed most about this movie was the sound editing, and I think it actually did win an Oscar for some of those things. And it's definitely one of those movies that I kind of regret that I don't have like a crazy good sound system at my house, because I feel like even with my shitty TV speakers, it sounded really solid. So I feel like, you know, if I had a proper setup, it'd be pretty neat. Definitely a good movie though. Definitely recommend watching it. And Dean, what did you think about it?
Yeah, this movie, I have been meaning to watch this movie like literally since it came out. It came out on Amazon Prime and I bought it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to watch this later. Never watched it. Amazing film. First of all, I'm a Ford guy. But really, I'm a car guy. My family, like, I've grown up around cars BMWs, Porsches, Fords, MGs, like you name it, we've owned it. Land Rovers, Toyotas,
Tesla.
Jaguars, now Tesla, yeah. But like the cars that stay in the fleet are Fords. Like I know I walk out to my driveway and I turn the key, that son of a bitch is gonna start. Like I love Fords. When I bought my last one, I was like, I needed a new vehicle. I was like, it's got to be a Ford. Like I'm not getting anything else. So to see this movie and the history, you know, Lee Iacocca, Carroll Shelby, the birth of the GT40. I kind of wish it went more into the Cobra, but it's okay. Dear Lord, this movie was beautiful. Not a whole lot of CGI too, which I was kind of surprised. I think once it got to the Le Mans race, there was more. But you're talking about cars that are virtually priceless. What a film. Just the history and like the automotive juggernauts that you see in this movie, they're just like in a room together hanging out. It's like almost like mind blowing. Yeah, this movie was fantastic. It was really good. Super surprised with Matt Damon. I thought I was gonna be really not that I don't like him as an actor, but it's like he's like one of those guys where it's like I can't see the character, I just see Matt Damon.
Doesn't he kind of play himself in this with just an accent though?
Yeah, a little bit. But Carroll Shelby
Damon
was such a maniac. In fact, he holds up a sign at one point that says "Go like hell," and he named one of his cars that. I want to say it was the Mustang II, because for a while, no, he stopped working with Ford and he started working. I want to say it was Chevy, and it was like this little hatchback thing, and he called it the GLH.
Dodge.
Is it Dodge?
Omni. Yeah.
Okay. The GLH that goes like hell. So I was like, oh shit! Like they fucking put that in the movie. That was great. Yeah, super cool. I loved it.
Yeah.
I can't say enough good things, honestly.
I'm personally not a car guy, and the reason why I chose this because I've been meaning to watch it, and I was flipping through the channels on the TV a couple months back, and it was on. And I'm not a car guy, but you get drawn into the movie. I didn't get to finish it, so that's why I chose it. This movie came out in 2019. This is my favorite movie I've watched this year. I absolutely love this movie. I think Christian Bale and Matt Damon did a phenomenal job. They won the award for the editing. I wish they won something like an Oscar or something. Like this movie was, in my opinion, perfect. You don't have to be a car guy. You get drawn. The thing I like about this movie is you get drawn into the story, and it's like an emotional roller coaster once you're in there. When he's driving in the rain, bro, at those speeds, it was nuts. I drove a Caravan today. I felt like I was driving a Shelby for 10 minutes. Home from work. For me, yeah, I think Christian Bale, when he was driving, he did a phenomenal job. What else? Kind of sad at the end. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest.
Bro, neither was I.
I wasn't expecting that. I was like, what? That was the most disappointing part. Because, you know, he's worked so hard. He's done such a good job up until that point. And then he's just having some fun. And we got that result. But it is based on a true story. So, but yeah, no, if you haven't watched this, please take the time to watch it. This is a must watch film.
Yeah, as Zach was alluding to, well, not alluding to, he flat out said it. It's a bit harder to watch in the States, but I think it's worth tracking down, right? I subscribed to like 5 streaming services, was on none of them, so I had to turn to more darker methods some may consider unnatural, but it's worth finding a copy and just watching.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, there you go. The P-Hub, you know, you'll find a good 480p
Only
copy
Fords.
on there. Only Fords, there you go. I would say I'm not a big car guy. My dad is a mechanic. My family are like huge car people, into the vintage cars. So this is like one I want to rewatch with him because I know he would really appreciate it. Obviously, it being a period piece as well, he'd eat it up. So no one plays a dick quite like Christian Bale. Like his character is just so unlikable yet likable at the same time. Absolutely crushes this. It's really cool to see the history, as some of you were saying. Like you're kind of hearing names that you kind of only know about in the legends. Like you're hearing about Ferrari and Iacocca and Shelby, and it's like, okay, to see the pieces kind of all come together. It's like, oh, this is really cool to know the history behind all of this. Yeah, I will just say like the driving scenes were incredibly well done. James Mangold, which I didn't realize he had directed this. I don't know that he's done a bad movie that I've seen personally. So I kind of want to track down the rest of films, non-superhero films that he's done and watch them. But yeah, overall, really, really well done. Really good pick. And again, it's worth seeking out somewhere to watch this.
Just something to mention quickly. 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb. It's about 2.5 hour movie. Sorry, Ben.
So I'm a car guy. I was a mechanic for 13 years. I'm in my second career now. I'm a Ferrari guy. Got my Ferrari shirt on. That's who I root for in Formula One. This is Le Mans racing. I love this movie. I mean, this like speaks to me on so many levels. I mean, not only the history, but like the whole, just the idea of what the GT40 meant and Ford's just like straight up determination to beat Ferrari. And it's amazing, like for me, it's like amazing to think what they had to do to like get this done back in the 60s. Just all the the technological advances that they had to come up with, making the engines lighter, making the body lighter, just everything about this movie I just love. I think Christian Bale, he nails it as he always does. He's just an amazing actor. I think he really shows you. He was like the underdog, and he made it happen. Because there's so many other big time racers that are mentioned in that could have taken his spot. He showed them he knew how to handle that car, and it was just cool to see all the different players within that. Obviously Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby. I mean, I don't see Carroll Shelby in Matt Damon, but I thought he did a decent job. And like John Bernthal as Lee Iacocca, and he's such a great actor too. And the actress that plays Ken Mile, Christian Bale's wife, she did an amazing job as well. It is a sad story in the end, but man, all of those people made such a mark on the automotive landscape and kind of changed the way Le Mans racing, these race cars were built, and it kind of trickled into the other series. But yeah, just an amazing movie. I recommend it. If people haven't watched it, I mean, you've got to crank up the sound system and listen to all the amazing sounds from those cars.
Totally agree. So many great points. I think it's cool for me that Christian Bale is becoming easily one of my favorite actors of all time. And I think it's because it seems like he just like sinks himself entirely into his roles. Like, I don't see, like, kind of like what you said about Matt Damon, Dean, but the opposite, right? Like, you see Matt Damon, you kind of just see Matt Damon, right? Like, I see Christian Bale as any character he's playing. Like, it blows me away. And his passion for the car in this movie was amazing. I'm not a huge car guy myself, but like just the way he he feels the engine, and like he knows that car. Like, he was clearly the perfect pick for Matt Damon in this film, or Shelby. And I think that it's cool that because it was set in the 60s, that being a hothead isn't going to get him anywhere. He has to kind of still play by the rules with Shelby and kind of like go through that the politics of it at first, up until they're getting to that point where we get to see them start in, being more with the vehicles. And like, that for me was when the movie really, really took off, because there were some slower moments at the beginning of the movie, but it's world building, it's character building, and kind of giving you a feel for the challenges and hurdles these guys had to overcome, right? Like, for me, this movie wasn't about Ford versus Ferrari. This was about two guys who had a huge passion for cars, and they were like, we want to make the best, right? We want to be the best. We know what it takes. And like, they had to do the impossible, right? They had to build this vehicle. They like to build the impossible, and they actually pull it off. And it's like, that to me, it's like, talk about like an underdog story in that sense. Like, that's what it felt like for me. The whole like companies, like the company of Ford versus Ferrari, to me wasn't really part of the film. It was watching these guys achieve their dream, and the passion that they deliver in their role, I thought was bang on. I believed them both as these people in this world. I really did like the kind of the father-son dynamic with Christian Bale's kid. The kid just being proud of his dad, right? And like, just like, that story got my heartstrings moving. I thought that part was excellent. I honestly can't say anything bad about this film. It is a movie that I would be one that I'd actually buy and have in my collection as something that you'll watch every couple of years, just to have something badass in the background. And like you guys said, like the sound, I had it up on the big screen with the big surround sound, and like, it was booming in here. It was pretty cool. Even though there's not a ton of like racing in the movie, really. Like, like, it's not like just a straight up racing movie. It's like, there's a lot more to it than that. So if you're not a huge like race car fan like I am, I still think there's a lot to it.
Shocked you didn't watch it in bed on the phone, Ben.
I was fucking about to say that.
Snipe.
Fair.
Got him.
I do want to.
Got him.
I wanted to add. So there's a one of the races that they're in is at Daytona Motor Speedway, and in what seems like a previous lifetime, I worked for a BMW Pro Race team, and I was on the pit crew, and we raced in Daytona, and like the scenes where they're in the pit lane and Shelby's like running out there with a sign. I mean, like, I literally worked right there, the exact same spots and everything, cool. Like doing the pit stops and everything. It was just like surreal because I hadn't really thought about that. And I'm like, wait a second, I've been right there before and got to actually be in races and everything. So it was pretty cool to kind of relive that.
Well, and I can see why these guys won an award for editing, because in terms of a race car movie that, like, these vehicles are moving super quick, any of the race scenes, you knew where the car was kind of at all times, depending on the cut. Like, I can't imagine the continuity challenge that would be of making sure that all scenes work together and nothing's out of order, that it just makes sense so that the viewer knows where they're at in the race without actually saying they're at this point in the race, like...
Yeah, especially because as an audience, you know more than the guys in the pit crew. Mm-hmm. The car passes them, and they're like, well, where are they at now? What turn should they be in right now? And then you as, the viewer, it's like, oh, that guy just crashed. Yeah. And they think it's Christian Bale's character.
Yeah, they're getting
they
like the feedback. They're like, oh, Ford has crashed, or like a Ferrari is on what are they called, unmarked or on I don't remember what
unknown
the word
Ford.
Yeah, there you go.
And they're like, fuck. They look at each other like, was that him? And then Ken Miles comes speeding past. They're like, oh, thank God. So yeah, that's a great point, Ben. That's it's a fantastic fucking movie, dude.
Marco, I believe it's your turn to pick movie of the week. What do we got?
Yeah, so I'm going to throw out there Andor. Since they're dropping 3 episodes, I would like that to be my movie of the week. If that's unacceptable, I've got a backup plan as well.
That works for me.
Works for me. I'm gonna watch them tonight.
So
anyway.
we'll do it spoiler free though. So I got a lot of Merlin to watch, but I'll make some time. But spoiler free next Tuesday.
I'm seeing some incredible buzz, so this is like not one that we want to sleep on for sure.
Oh yeah, Merlin's great, dude. It's an old show, but it's
so fantastic.
So fucking good.
Honestly, guys, if you haven't watched Merlin
fucking
yet,
Merlin, bro,
watch it. I was like, there's no way this show's that
You
good.
made
Zach,
fun of me for so long. You were
so
like, this
long.
looks so stupid. And then you watched the first season like in an hour. And
bro,
you were
I watched like the whole show in like a week. What are you talking about?
I know, dude.
Amazing. But we're gonna wrap up the show here in a little bit. But we gotta give shout outs to our sweet angel Patreonies, don't we, Zach?
We do. The pillars, as John says.
The sweet pillars. Let's give
foundations.
A shout out to Sean Fear, Ian CV, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, I messed it up. I'm sorry. Daminators, Rob Bretta, Thomas Clark, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Kratt, Big Old Fern, King Zach, Caesar Marquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bobanski, Rick DiGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alad Morgan, Tukathri Wa, Derek B, Arias Portillo, Pablo Meza, Carlos Saavedra, Matt Clevenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Kevin, come down. Scott Smith, Dalmaton, Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. What a bunch of sweet angels. I totally tripped up on Sam Gist. Did I say Gist or Gist?
I didn't get the gist of it, but I...
God damn it. Anyway,
just kidding.
Shout out Sam.
We have some October stuff to show you. Not everything yet. Just a teaser, as it were. Holographic Does Anybody Work sticker. The Patreons have been asking for this for a while. And, we thought we'd give it the hollow treatment. And so John's gets another meme sticker there.
Oh, yeah, that's
we're working...
Johns.
Yeah, let's. It might be a while, John, before we get the next one. We're working on another sticker. It's the Gabagool Club, sort of a play on the Stranger Things
Hellfire Club.
Thank you, Hellfire Club. So stay tuned for that. I just gotta really think about it. Hopefully by next Tuesday we'll have something to show you on that. But yeah. So we just ordered the first sticker. We'll order the next one here in the next few weeks. But yeah, hollow sticker for the first one, and we'll work on the next design hopefully by next Tuesday. Patreon starts at $5 a month. You get stickers sent straight to your door and access to Ox After Dark Replay. We also have the Certified Crispy tier at $15 and the $25 What a Guide tier, which is doubles of all the stickers we send, and a POG set on your first Patreon patronage. We have some great people that support us on YouTube. Our channel members are MojoZ78, Absolute Erwin, Test Just One, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Gist, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hanson, Chris V, Big O Fern, OG Fan, Bamet, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Lima Hernandez, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Money Mendez. Happy birthday, by the way. I think it was his birthday yesterday. Luke Fredericks and Sia Dreams. YouTube channel membership start at 99 cents. Go up to $2.99 if you're a Patreon. It's $99, $2.99 if you're not. Looking at the network, we have, I want to say, OFAC this week. Am I right there, Dean?
No, I believe
that
it's...
I think it's OFAC because when the Queen passed, it was OFAC, and then last week was
Oh,
Small
okay,
Talk.
yes, you're right.
We have After Dark tomorrow at 10:30, and then Collectors Club Friday. Should be an exciting week. Saturday, I don't know if we have anything planned, so we'll figure something out. Pose Wars 1/6 scale is going to be October 22nd, I think is where we're at. So October 22nd, if you want to pose, you heard it here first, send me a Facebook message. We'll put up a post in the next few days for that. But we definitely need posers. And, it'll be exciting. Thor Gaming says 3 weeks for John's sticker from Zach's Wonderland. You'll love to see it. We also have T-shirts if you want to buy that. They always go on sale. I'd wait for the sale, but we got some good stuff up there. We should have a club sticker hopefully soon for you guys. John, can we commit to maybe having this up by the end of the month? A club sticker or a t-shirt
club
rather?
shirt?
Yeah.
End of the
I
month
think
should
the
be
fans-
fine.
I vote a tough nut to swallow shirt. Just saying.
Yeah, if you want to
Just
send me the
saying.
design and we'll make all the money off of it, that works.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Actually, I was thinking of a scary Halloween sticker would also be me in bed potentially. I could see that on somebody's bumper. I'm just saying.
Dude, somebody get
on a
the
bumper.
picture of Lord Farquaad in bed and put Ben's head on it.
I like the Wolverine in bed better. I thought that was cooler imagery. But
And then
How
the
about the
picture
grandpa
would
from
be your
Lord
fiance.
How about the grandpa from Willy Wonka? That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
There
I'm
you
not
go.
that old.
Oh man, because
I cut the gray hair.
Bed. That's a good one.
That coke nail, dude.
That's a good one.
John, can we shout out these socials for me, please?
Yeah, on Facebook we got Collecting Weekly, as well as Collecting Weekly Auxiliary, Instagram at Collecting Weekly _clips, and at The Everyday Collector.
Bunch
should,
of
follow
great
those.
socials there.
Yeah.
Shout out time. Is there any shout outs that we want to give?
Yeah, Eddie had his birthday on, you mentioned. So
40th
happy
birthday.
belated to Eddie, and also Eddie Manzanares today. So happy
sweet
birthday to
angel.
you, buddy.
Eddie's together strong, baby. Happy birthday, Eddie Manzanares and Eddie Money Mendez.
Shout out Chris Liddy jumping on the show.
Wow.
Yeah,
got
last-
himself
Chris
a
was
dopey
here?
duck.
I know, right? Last minute addition. Just slipped into Zach's DMs.
Ew.
Wanted to get some action.
What?
It worked.
What the hell?
That's right. That's right.
Successful.
Sexual.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for having me. I always love coming on. It's been too long. Just love chatting. And I mean, I've got some stuff coming up. The Cards Formula with Brian and TC, and our new co-host Scott should be next Wednesday or Thursday live on YouTube, usually about 8 p.m. Eastern time. I also have another podcast that I co-host. It's called Collecting Tracks for fanthatracks.com. Chris Porteous, who's the Vintage Rebellion on YouTube, his buddy is my co-host, Richard Hutchinson.
It's like a train thing, or
collecting tracks. It's all about Star Wars collecting. So we have 2 episodes out so far.
Model Railroad, baby. Talking about some HO
choo-choo.
skill, some Z skill,
Lionel, all the vintage. You got the
Wow.
modern. We do it all. Trains
lot of
all
words.
day, every day.
Train Collecting Weekly, baby.
To be fair, I'm sure there's a Star Wars train set out there somewhere.
Dude, you need it for
I
the
would-
collection. I
I
want
would
it to
not
choo-choo around the room.
doubt it.
I want the Patrick
at all.
Swayze.
The Swayze Express.
Patrick Swayze
you
Express,
dumb
yeah.
Fucking, no, you ruined it. Brian.
Oh, the
Dang it.
Swayze Express.
Yeah.
Shout out
That's
to the Patreonies. I posted the picture of my model, and everyone really said some really nice things. Made me feel real good. I've had kind of a week, and it made me feel real nice to have all the nice comments. So, thank you guys for that.
I've got one more shout out to my
Okay,
one and
fine.
only
Fine.
my one and only fan, Baby Boy 562, that came out week over week to
Wow,
see me.
shout
on
out
the chat. I
to Baby
appreciate.
Girl. It was her birthday the other day. Shout out to Baby Girl.
Yeah.
Yes, happy birthday.
It was her birthday, I want to say
Shout
last
out to
Wednesday.
the baby family.
Yeah,
It
shout out to
was.
Baby Family.
The baby fam.
Love it.
And, a shout out to Fern. Is everything good? A health and wellness check might be in order. Hopefully everything's cool with the guy.
We're good. Yeah, I sent her a happy birthday message on Instagram. I don't think she ever even saw it, so break my heart. But
Well,
anyway,
she saw it. She just saw Zach. She's like, okay.
I think it was from the main CW account. But at any rate, anyone else have any shout outs they want to give?
Rest in peace, the queen.
Enjoy Andor, everybody. Looking forward to
yeah.
it.
Oh man, it's so weird how they do things in England. They
May
had to
you unite us
vault.
once again under one banner.
put her in. They didn't even show the vault going down. I watched it, and it was just some dude playing a trumpet.
Bro, I tuned in. It was like super early. I was like up at an unreasonable hour, and it was like live moments before the Queen's whatever they called
Internment.
it. Sure. I don't know if they use the word burial, but like the ceremony, right? And I was like, okay. And then like it was like pitch black, like over there. So it was like real early, and I was like, okay, well they're not gonna do this in the middle of the night, so like probably obviously gonna wait till the sun came out. Well, I like went to bed, woke up like hours later, and they still hadn't put her in the ground yet. I was like, God damn! Like, can you just let this lady rest? We gotta parade her around for.
Because you'll never see it again in your lifetime, buddy.
She should have. Well, I mean, at the Phillip, dude. Are you kidding me? Like a strong wind would take him out. Might be back here next week.
Oh my God! Say you're sorry.
I'm just saying, don't print the money yet. I mean, come on.
Oh my God! Jesus.
Zach over there, the epitome of good health.
Okay, first off, maybe only Chris Letty is the epitome of health on this panel, not none of us.
No, Marco's not bad.
What about Marco and Ben?
No, Ben.
Fine.
Okay, us three up top, we have too much gabagool.
Ben has too much green leaf. Marco is
3 on 3. The 3 of us versus the 3 of you.
Ben's got that hobbit leaf.
If I'm the model of health, that's a scary
thought. The top 3 versus the bottom 3 in a tug of war. Let's go.
What are we tugging?
My penis.
Whoa!
Whoa!
The short tug
We
of
will
war.
Catch. Hey, it's not
Yeah,
the size of
tweezers.
the bounce. It's the...
Who the fuck threw that motherfucking busted ass goddamn Adidas?
Wait, I thought we did a sign off. We're still live, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was going to do organically. Anyways, I'm Zach.
Premature. That was premature.
It's a premature
tugging.
ejection.
The tugging caused premature.
I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach. No, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Marco.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ben. Oh, you hate to see it.
Chris, what the hell, Chris?
Chris
You
takes
hate to see it.
priority.
Sniped in there.
Chris should be ahead of
That's
Ben
all
and
right.
I, if we're being
That-
honest. so.
In reality, he should be. Let's be honest.
Come on.
I'm good with being on the bottom. Love you guys.
Pause. In bed with his fiance.
That's nice.
Oh my God.
Sorry, Shauna. That
She's
was
sleeping though.
I'll send you guys a text message.